right here so that we can fit it all in the box. Alright, so the USSR. People started fleeing from East Berlin to West Berlin. And so what did they do to stop these people from being able to just travel freely across the border? They did what? Build a wall. Alright. So one of the things that you need to remember is that the USSR builds the Berlin Wall to stop people fleeing from the east. And again, we got shorthand. You guys might be able to fit people in east in there, but I'm just shorthanding these things so that I can fit them up in these boxes up here. Alright, so they build this wall and they block off all this communication, the Soviets do, in Berlin. What does the U.S. do for West Berlin after that allows them to...
Don't they send them food?
Yeah, they send them food. How do they send them food, though?
Airdrops.
Airdrops, alright. So the U.S. sends food by airlift. You can put it in your own words if you want to, as long as you guys remember that what they did because of this wall and because of this oppression in the east from the Soviet Union, the U.S. and the Allies send food via airlift into West Berlin so that they will be able to stay alive, survive this threat. Because what we talked about, if you guys remember, is that the thing the Soviet Union tries to do is kind of put a stranglehold on the West. And we'll talk about why actually right now. Why was it that they were able to try to do this, or that they tried to block off this communication? There was something, the country that surrounded East and West Berlin was Germany. But what part of Germany do you guys remember surrounded East and West Berlin? They were also separated in East and West. Germany was at this time. So what part of Germany was it that completely surrounded Berlin? Do you guys remember?
East, west.
Huh? Somebody got it right. East. Why was it the East, and why is that important? You guys remember? Just like in East Berlin, the USSR had control. So in East Germany, the USSR, the Soviet Union, had control. So West and East Berlin is in total Soviet control, okay? So what we're going to write, and you can write it across them or in each one, I'm going to write it across it, that both of these are completely surrounded Alright, so they're completely surrounded by East Germany, or they're under Soviet control. If I'm moving too fast, or if you guys can't read it, let me know. No, we're not going to rush through it. We've got another one of these to do, and then we're going to review the Jeopardy games. Alright. And finally, when we think about the last thing on here, where was the, we talked about how the United States and the Soviet Union were in an arms race, alright? Where was, oh, I messed up actually. Sorry if you guys are writing in pen. I was looking at the wrong side of that paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay, it's still an easy thing to write in there. When we talk about the nuclear arms race between the U.S. and the USSR, they both sent nuclear weapons to one place or another, alright? So, where did the United States send nuclear weapons? Do you guys remember? Alright. So they send nuclear weapons to Turkey. Make sure you underline that and you know that's where they send nuclear weapons. So again, to contrast this, where did the USSR, the Soviet Union, send nuclear weapons?
Cuba.
Cuba. Alright. Alright. Good deal. Okay, so while Khrushchev in the USSR, the Soviet Union, he's threatening the Allies, and he's threatened by this idea of containment that we're spreading, trying to contain communism, and trying to spread these Western ideals of democracy and self-determination. What's the name of the next Soviet leader that comes along and tries to open the Soviet Union up to these new policies and allow Western influence in? Do you guys remember? Starts with a G as his last name.